Okay, for game two, we didn't really see much from his deck. That aggressive start was very good for us. So we're not going to board anything in. Um, Rakdos Charm would be a possibility there. We didn't see any artifacts. We didn't see that he was playing a Golgari deck, so the each creature deals one to its controller can be a possible way to finish an opponent off. The exile all cards from a target player's graveyard is pretty good against Golgari, so we will definitely keep Rakdos Charm in mind against him. Depending on what he plays game 2, if we happen to lose that game. Hopefully not, though. We will submit this and see what happens here. Waiting for him to decide whether or not he wants to play first. Okay. This is sort of an awkward hand here. The only creature being Tenement Crasher, and my 1 and 2 drops being my creature enchantments. With no real action, I am inclined to mulligan to 6. Now I realize that I believe it was 17 creatures in this deck, so there is a significant number of live draws in this 33 here. Over the first couple of turns, I'm quite likely to get something that I can turn rather big. So it is very tempting to keep this. And I generally lean towards the side of keeping because there's always the possibility of not being able to keep your 6 and mulliganing down to lose the game. And there's definitely a lot of live draws with this hand. So we will cross our fingers and keep it, although it's very close with this hand. We have drawn a not creature. And he's got a creature going on. Oh, there's a creature. Tenement Crasher number 2. Starting to feel a little wrong. But we will see. He is missing his land drop? No, he's not missing his land drop. He's just a little slow on that. He's a Lotless Troll. That's pretty good. We have a Rogue's Passage. Also not a creature. Okay, so we're getting beat down by some creatures. We're going to want to draw a creature next turn and be able to make it big. Gatecreeper Vine. Allow him to get the Guildgate and play it. Okay. Splatterthug. So we can play Splatterthug and Deviant Glee it. We're down at 14s. It's enough of an incentive for us to not unleash the Splatterthug, because a Splatterthug with a leash on it and a Deviant Glee on it is a formidable blocker. Now, he does have 2 guys that have the ability to regenerate. But we'll see if he's willing to spend the mana to do that. A little revealed card, he can regenerate both of them. He may just go in with both, or he may hold them back because he has regenerators. The trample that Deviant Glee gives, however, is rather excellent for the Splatterthug. Centaur's Herald makes an appearance here. I still don't picture him attacking, but he is. Okay. There's 3 cards in his hand. Even if he discards all 3, the first strike will still get the Lotless Troll. He regenerates. I go to 12, untap, and I draw a mountain. Now I don't have the ability to give this guy flying. I do, however, have the ability to give him trample. So this would be a 6 with trample. But he won't be trampling next turn, because I will be playing Tenement Crasher. So, I was just thinking about this. Pursuit of Flight also goes quite well on a Tenement Crasher with Rogue's Passage. I think I want to keep him back and defend again. He can drop 2 cards to that, and that's it's quite a good clock. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Somewhat awkward because he can attack with both his regenerators. But we're playing a little bit of a longer game here. Trying to play the long game, that is. Because it should favor us. If we get our blue source, we can Pursuit of Flight something. Get our Tenement Crashers out there. Get something that isn't a huge investment like Splatter Thug with Deviant Glee on it, or the Tenement Crashers that we can sack to launch party something. Hopefully to trick him by double killing one of his regenerators and actually having it hit the graveyard. I was only spending the 1 mana to regenerate the Lotless Troll, but his ability to discard cards makes that potentially a faster clock. He does appear to be a little bit short on the mana, so maybe I should be blocking the other way around. So let's see what we draw here. It's a Cobble Brute, which isn't bad, considering we have Rogue's Passage. Now, I could attack with Splatter Thug, but this is probably the turn he's going to sack his Centaur's Herald anyway, so all that would succeed in doing is tapping my Splatter Thug. I could attack with the Tenement Crasher. That's also a thing that I could do. But I think I just want to play out Tenement Crasher and pass the turn. Staying on the defense. expected. And we are waiting to see what he does. Now, regeneration mana for both of these creatures is 2 black and 1, which leaves him with 2 mana here. So if he intends on attacking, that takes away those resources from him. I don't think he will. Spending his mana on Perilous Shadow. It's a decent creature here. And a very good draw with Rtr1 Guildmage. That's just lovely. So that's just a fantastic, fantastic draw. Well, Perilous Shadow does manage to get in there quite nicely. What I can do here is play Cobblebrute and Rtr1 Guildmage. And what that allows me to do about Perilous Shadow is, unless he has another swamp, I can double block Perilous Shadow with a Tenement Crasher. Alternatively, I could play Tenement Crasher and double block with 2 Tenement Crashers and trade a Tenement Crasher for a Perilous Shadow. I do have the launch party. Ideally, I would trade Cobblebrute for his Perilous Shadow. If he pumps it fully, that does use up a large amount of his resources for next turn, and yeah, I don't think I'm that worried about him pumping that fully. Rtr1 Guildmage and Cobblebrute leaves my defenses a little down. It does allow me to launch party away the Cobblebrute at something next turn. I can Cobblebrute with the Pursuit of Flight. Which seems just kind of silly. I can Cobblebrute in Pursuit of Flight the Tenement Crasher. That seems better. That would be a lot more difficult for his Perilous Shadow to kill. It's kind of odd, but I think that's what we do. We're not going to attack here. We're going to sort of wait for later on in the game when Rogue's Passage can take it over. Which may not be the correct plan. Golgari does have a very good late game in general. He's got more cards in hand than us. He's just sort of screwed on his mana. And he may have any amount of removal. Okay, we've got a Hellhole failure. Oh, such a failure. Alright, that's nice. We got a Splatter Thug. Okay, he's got a considerably more developed board than us. So, what we can do about that is play Rtr1 Guildmage and stick our tongue out at him. Ha 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 ha. We have Rixmati Guild Mage. We have Rixmati Guild Mage. Hellhole Flailer would be a decent target for launch party, as would Perilous Shadow. I think what we want to do is use that up, get rid of our Cobble Brute. I mean, the Cobble Brute's real purty, but problems with the mouse here. Here, mousey, mousey. I think that's correct. I mean, his two regenerators just make Cobble Brute not something we particularly want to have to. We'd be willing to trade it, rather, for one of his better creatures. There's another swamp, so that allows him 3 pumps of his Perilous Shadow. He has his Hellhole Flailer mana up. If we were to launch Parley the Flailer, we would want to do that when he had already tapped either all is red or below 4. So let's see if he's attacking. He is attacking here. Okay, so he's probably going to pump it once, and then we just simply launch party. Sacking the Cobble Brute. And the Flailer is unleashed, so it can't even block. He's got post-combat Jailbreaker, which may attack as though it did not have Defender. So it's a genuine 4/4 there. I have 2 activations of Rixmati Guild Mage possible. But his side of the board is starting to look a little impressive. I think I want to get out Tenement Crasher. If I get enough board presence here, I will be able to attack with my Rogue's Passage, dealing him 7 a turn here, which will take 3 turns to kill him. I can do 8 a turn by activating Rixmati Guild Mage as well, with the mana that I have now. Which is still 2 turns. If I can get that up to 9 by having 2 more mana, then that would reduce it to a 2-turn clock. But with the offense that he has now, and me being at 10 life, I am not likely to have the luxury of overextending like that anytime soon. Okay. This is interesting. So I'm not going to want to block with the Rixmati Guild Mage. block like that, and he needs to have a trick to kill any of my guys. As that stands, I will be taking 4. If he has that 4 mana spell that pumps his dude and gives it trample, pumps his dude once for each creature he has, then we just lose. Yeah, that happens. Entirely expected. For strike damage, regular damage puts us to 2. And there's plenty of stuff he could have here to do the last 2 to us. Trestle Troll is not one of those things. Okay. We now have the mana with this land to Rogue's Passage and play the Splatter Thug. We don't have the ability to put him on a 2-turn clock, but we can get this Tenement Crasher in. He's got that damage there. So, let's make this guy unblockable. And beat in. For the first of 3 turns. Hopefully we're doing alright here. We will put a leash on the Splatter Thug so that it can block. And hope he doesn't have anything that just outright kills us. Like Explosive Impact. Okay, on to game 3.